a sign of the times.
I'm pleasantly surprised and I'm glad because I think it's important for all groups to be represented in politics.
More women making the leap. How high are the numbers for Quebec's election campaign?
CTV News with Maya Johnson.
Well, it's a turning point in Quebec politics, with the four major parties aiming for parity. Nearly half of all candidates running in the upcoming election are women. Amanda Klein reports.
As Quebecers prepare to jump into an election campaign, there's a big jump in the number of women who will be running. Numbers compiled by Le Journal de Montréal show they'll account for nearly half of all candidates. The biggest increase comes from the CAQ. In the last election, 23% of its candidates were women. This time, it's 48%. The Liberals are going from 28% to 42%, Quebec Solidaire from 50% to 53%, and the PQ is stagnant at 37%.
Well, I'm pleasantly surprised and I'm glad because I think it's important for all groups to be represented in politics.
Political commentator Anne Lagacé-Dowson ran for the NDP federally. She says this is a huge step forward.
We know there's increasing cynicism, the voter turnout is dropping, people tend to say, oh, what's the point, they're all the same. If they see that there's actual diversity amongst the candidates, that might motivate a certain number of people.
Back in April, while not all parties supported a bill to implement gender parity, they did support the idea. A sign of the times, but for this political analyst, also a political calculation, especially for the CAQ.
So what we've seen since a few weeks ago is an increase of the support of women towards CAQ. And one of the things that we have to say is that it can be related to the fact that François Legault was able to recruit more women.
For voters we spoke to, gender balance is something they'll consider in the voting booth.
Right now, we don't get anywhere, so maybe change is better.
You may say I'm biased, but yes, that's what it is. So I'm 100% for that. It would influence me a lot.
I find they're going to get a lot more women than that in the past, so I think it's a good thing.
It's part of the overall consideration.
Right now, women represent roughly 30% of MNAs. That puts Quebec's National Assembly at 47th place in world rankings. But come October 1st, that could all change. Amanda Klein, CTV News.